The Whispering Maze. In a small, forgotten town nestled between shadowy woods, there was an old, abandoned amusement park. The locals called it the Whispering Maze, a place that once attracted visitors from far and wide. But that was before the accident, before the maze became a place of fear and nightmares. It was said that those who entered the maze at night could hear whispers, soft at first, like the wind rustling through leaves, but growing louder, more insistent. No one knew where the voices came from, but everyone who heard them said the same thing. The whispers were calling their name. One chilly autumn night, a group of friends dared each other to enter the maze. They were young, fearless, and eager to prove their courage. Emma, the leader of the group, was the first to step inside. Her friends followed, nervous laughter betraying their unease. The maze was a labyrinth of high hedges, twisting paths, and dead ends. The deeper they ventured, the darker it became. The moonlight barely penetrated the thick foliage, and soon they were swallowed by the darkness. At first it was quiet, too quiet. Then the whispers began. Emma, Emma. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest. The voice was soft, almost gentle, but it sent a chill down her spine. She turned to her friends, expecting them to laugh, but their faces were pale, eyes wide with fear. "Did you hear that?" Emma whispered, her voice trembling. They all nodded, huddling closer together. The whispers grew louder, more distinct. Each voice called out a different name, but there was something off about them, something inhuman. "Let's get out of here," Jake, the youngest, said, his voice shaky. But when they turned to leave, the path they had taken was gone. The maze had shifted, closing in around them. Panic set in as they realized they were trapped. The whispers became more urgent, more insistent. "Emma, Jake, Lydia, come closer. We need you." The voices seemed to come from all directions, echoing through the maze. Emma tried to keep calm, leading her friends down one path after another, but every turn led to a dead end or brought them back to where they started. Hours passed, or maybe it was minutes. It was impossible to tell in the dark, suffocating maze. Fear gnawed at their sanity, and the whispers never stopped. Then they saw it. At the center of the maze, bathed in a sickly pale light, stood a small, dilapidated building. The whispers were coming from inside. "We have to go in," Emma said, though every instinct screamed at her to run the other way. With no other option, they approached the building. The door creaked open as they neared, revealing a dimly lit room filled with dusty mirrors. In each mirror, they saw reflections of themselves, but there was something wrong. The reflections didn't move with them. They stood still, watching with hollow eyes. The whispers were deafening now, a chorus of voices that seemed to come from the mirrors themselves. The friends stepped closer, drawn by an unseen force. Then, one by one, the reflections began to smile, wide, unnatural grins that stretched across their faces. "Welcome home," the reflections whispered in unison. Suddenly the room grew cold, and the friends felt an invisible force pulling them toward the mirrors. They struggled, but it was no use. One by one, they were dragged into the glass, their screams muffled as the mirrors swallowed them whole. Emma was the last. She fought with all her strength, but the pull was too strong. As her body was pulled into the mirror, she saw her reflection smile back at her, eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The last thing she heard before the darkness claimed her was her own voice, whispering from the other side of the glass. "Welcome to the maze, Emma. You're home now." The next morning, the townspeople found the maze as they always had, silent, untouched, and empty. But if you listen closely, they say, you can still hear the whispers of the lost, calling out from the maze, waiting for someone new to join them.